Then what happens is the red pill community comes back and blames those women when they've dated around or slept around. But they're the ones that were using them all along. So when they're 40, they're wondering what's wrong with women. And it's just this gaslighting thing.
What up, what up, what up? This is Mike, the philosopher, here with another ranking. This one is from Melanie King. Check this out, y'all.
How are you?
I got a lady, guys. I got a lady. Oh my goodness. It's like, oh, whoa. What happened tonight? So what you got for me tonight, Rosa?
Well, I kind of just wanted to hop on here and talk about the red pill community a little bit, like kind of just have a conversation about my thoughts on things and kind of what your thoughts are as well.
Okay, well, can I ask you a couple questions first, just so we get a little equilibrium and so people know who you are?
Sure, yeah.
All right, how old are you?
I'm 30.
And where are you located? You don't have to give this specific, but a general area.
I'm in Northern California.
Okay, and ever been married?
I'm currently married.
You are married. Okay, so she's taken, fellas.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I'm just hoping to help out men, actually.
Sound like she want to kind of take over Melanie King's job here. She want to, plug into that network and give dating advice herself. We'll see what she got. She's not a bad looking woman. She's married though, but she's not a bad looking woman still. Let's see what she got to offer. Let's go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what did you want to talk about then?
Sorry, my dog is here. By the way, I've never done this before, so I can't see you.
That's okay. They no, they can see us. I'm facing the wrong way. I'm not even looking at you because my camera was acting so crazy tonight.
Oh, okay.
So this is gonna look wonky, guys. I'm gonna be facing the wrong direction. I'm on my laptop, my computer. It's been a lot of mess, but we're here. But go ahead. What did you want to talk about?
No worries. So I think that, first of all, I agree with a lot of aspects of the red pill community, especially the idea of hypergamy and men wanting to like spread their seed, so to speak. Like, I understand the biological components of that and agree with it. But I see this becoming detrimental to men because what's happening is they're assuming that relationships are transactional, and so are women, by the way. And there's no room for seeing the humanity in other people and like thinking even about love. Like, it's not even something we talk about in this community at all. And so I think
we don't talk about love because relationships are more transactional, and they are that way because a lot of people are not going to like this comment, but it's because women made them transactional. You just have. It's more of a what can I get out of you situation. It hasn't been the men who made it transactional. Like, if a man make a relationship transactional, he'll just get a prostitute. Okay, he'll just get a prostitute. That, for him, that's about as transactional as he can get. He don't want the problems. He don't want the issues, the stress. You calling, you messing up his happy home, or whatever the case may be. He'll just get one of those. But women actually made the relationships themselves transactional, whereas you gotta. It's almost as I don't want to say that they're moving like ladies of the evening, but they made it so transactional that you have to have a laundry list of things for them in order for them to even justify being with you. It's the women who made relationships transactional. If I'm wrong about that, put it in the comments. If I'm right about that, put it in the comments. I just feel like women made relationships today transactional, and yeah, we don't talk about love and stuff like that anymore because um, it's not it's not what it's not what people are looking for. It's just not. Now it's at a point where men ain't looking for it and women ain't looking for it. So what else is there to do? You got to figure out how to get something out of something. And let me say this, and this is important. It is nobody's fault. It is not. It's not the women's fault. I don't blame the women for being transactional. I don't blame the men for being transactional. This society, this Western society, is what turned people transactional. Let me stress that. It's the society and how it's set up that turned people transactional because we live in a capitalistic society. And when you live in a capitalistic society, you have a quid pro quo type of mentality. You just do. Okay? I give you something, I expect something in return. I pay for services, I want those services. Okay, I'm giving you something. Now I want you to give me something. It is a capitalistic quid pro quo mentality in a capitalist society. And what happened is that slowly leaked into our personal lives, not just professional no more. It's even in our personal lives. So we look to get something out of relationships now. Again, nobody's fault, not the women's fault, not the men's fault. It's society as a whole. And as long as you have that, I got to get something out of this, you're going to have a transactional mentality, and it's going to leak into not just your professional life, but your personal life as well. So that being said, let's go back in.
What's happening sometimes is that I think this can do a number on men's confidence because they're seeing their value, especially if they're younger or they didn't make the right decisions. They're seeing that basically they have no value in the eyes of women. And so I'm just wondering.
But Rosa, let me just tell you, they don't. I think. How tall are you?
I'm 5'6", but why does that matter?
How tall is your husband?
He is 6 foot.
Okay. And does he make the average salary $50,000 a year?
When we met,
does he make more?
So this is the thing, Melanie. Like when we met, he didn't have all his shit together. Like he had goals and ambitions, and I trusted that. I believed in him. Now he's making over 6 figures, but when we first met, he wasn't in that position, and I took a chance on him. And so I just
what would most women say your husband's face looks like?
I would say,
would they say, oh, he's average, or would they say, oh, he's hot, or he's cute?
Okay, so this is the thing. I think that
I'm asking for a reason. I'm not trying to be hard on you. You can't see my face, so I'm not being like harsh. I'm asking because you're a very attractive woman. Okay. Right. And I did a scale. I don't know, my live messed up earlier, but I did a whole thing where I showed the scale of faces of men ranking 1 to 10.
Okay.
And it showed the data is out there that men in their rankings, women care more about looks than they do anything else, especially the younger they are.
Which I find interesting that women care more about looks. This is not going to come off right, or this is not going to be popular, but I find that weird. I find that to be a masculine trait. And look, I'm not saying that women should date ugly men or anything like that. You know, uh, but at the same, I just don't understand why that's so important to women. Like, I mean, I don't consider myself a bad looking guy, so I never had those issues. But I mean, this will actually probably sort of kind of work in my favor. But y'all can disagree with me if you want to. That's fine too. But what I'm saying is, that is seem to be a masculine thing. Men, in my opinion, men are the ones who dictate natural selection. Okay, and what I mean by that is men go after women who they think that are going to procreate their kids into being whatever they want their kids to be. So the men find the women to do the natural selection stuff. Okay, women don't care or used to not care what the men look like, long as he could provide a good nest for them. Okay, you know, even in the animal kingdom, other animals are like that. They want a male who has who can provide. Who can you kill? Can you protect? Can you do this? Can you do that? That's what other female animals look for. Males who can provide them that sort of service, and that's who they mate with. But the men are the one who control the natural selection because they're looking at women. That's why men care so much about beauty, and that's why they care so much about looks, because they're trying to envision how their kids are going to look like. If they want, you know, a lighter skinned kid, they're going to go after a lighter skinned woman, or they want a darker skinned kid, they're going to go after a darker woman, or a curvy woman, or a woman, you know, some men actually go after women with intelligence because they want smart kids. Men control natural selection, in my opinion. And with that comes looks. That's why men are so visual. So I'm not saying that women shouldn't have no standards or anything like that. But what I'm saying is a woman really, I understand hypergamy. Hypergamy is something that is natural for women, you know, and I don't necessarily knock them for being hypergamous. But what do hypergamy got to do with looks? It's almost it's like it's getting to a point where women are moving too much like men and want the same things that men want, and asking for some of the same thing. They moving, they're focusing on their careers, just I mean, and money and stuff like that, are almost trying to move like men in a lot of different ways, even in how they choosing mates now based on looks, and you got to have this, you got to have that. It's just an imbalance. If everybody is trying to be the same type of human being, there is no counterpart to look for. You know what I mean? If men are looking for women and women are looking for womanly men, then there is a huge void in that beautiful feminine category. There's a huge void in that feminine arena because the men ain't feeling it and the women don't want to feel it. So that's why women who are super feminine are going to get all the men. They're going to get all the men because they're sort of becoming extinct. Why? Because women, a lot of women, I just feel like want to be men, want to act and move like men, and ask for the same things as men. Oh, you got to have the looks. And she said the younger they get, the more that they care about looks. So the girls who are up and coming care more about looks, and they're going after their careers like a and trying to chase the bag and money like a male would do. So if you got the men doing that and then you got the women doing that, there is a huge void that is not being filled with feminine women who can cook and nurture and take care of home. And those women are going to be top shelf to most men. And I tell you what, a lot of them ain't going to be in the West. You're going to find men going to the East where that stuff is still happening, where that feminine energy is still at, where they don't care about your age, where they don't care about your looks, where they don't care about nothing. They do care about you providing like a man. But I'm going to tell you, Eastern women and some South American women, they're going to get all the men. They're going to be the pick of the litter. And you're going to see men traveling just to get to those women. If it's not happening now, it will soon. But I think it's happening already. Okay? But let's go back in.
So, and if you guys, I don't know if you are, how did you meet him?
So it was actually a crazy story. We met almost 4 years ago now on Instagram Live.
Okay.
Yeah, like he was in someone's live and I was like, okay, this guy's cute. So I followed him and then we just started a conversation from there and we were long distance.
Right. See, look, do you hear the key term there? He was cute. You thought he was hot. You thought he was really attractive.
But that's fine. Yeah, like that.
But a lot of times the guys who are getting attractive women who think they're hot, who think they're cute, women will work with them. Women will believe in it, especially if they're younger, especially if you're not, past the wall or over the wall. The women will believe, they'll give you a chance because he's good looking, he's hot, and your husband is tall. And so what we're talking about, what the red pill talks about, and there are men who are tall and good looking still have issues, but for general, the average man making the average salary, your husband's gone up into, whatever he's making over six figures. I mean, he's in the six figures range now. So whatever's grown in.
I had to believe in him. He had nothing when we met, only his word I had to believe. And so,
but he was hot.
He was good looking.
Right. So you would believe him, but do you think the average man who's 5'9", okay, makes $50,000 a year, does not probably has a good looking face as your husband to attract a good looking girl like you, okay, because you would consider very attractive. So a lot of times the red pill, it's almost skewed. Almost people with pretty privilege and guys who have Chad privilege almost don't even understand this because around their orbit, it's a little bit different than the average person. So when you say women just want a guy who has confidence, well, if he looks like Danny DeVito, but he had confidence, do you think he would have he could have gotten you like your husband did?
Well, obviously not. I mean, there has to be attractiveness, on both sides of it. And that's why I think about just like managing men and women's expectations, the idea of like knowing where you stand in the sexual marketplace is definitely valuable, but I don't think it's everything. And I think that there are some women who are willing to work with men who don't have their shit together.
If they're hot enough, if they're good looking enough, you're talking about guys who are Chads, or let's say the guy is like Mark Zuckerberg.
Melanie, that's not true. Let me
in tech or something.
My husband is Indian and he's dark skinned. Okay. A lot of women, and even like sad to say, even some of my own family members have an issue with this. Okay. I don't. And that's why I'm saying, I think maybe I'm just like a unicorn, but I don't think we should be normalizing women to be.
Wait, is that the squeaky?
Sorry, that's my dog.
No, it's okay. I understand. No, but I was like, is she putting like a giggle, like laugh thing, like in the background or something?
No.
I was like, wait, dog squeaky toy. Okay. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying, Rosa. And this is what my counterpoint would be. There's a reason why the red pill exists. And to say that, oh, that, there's all these people and it is so easy. It invalidates their real life, their real lived experience. It's like saying, you know what? You just haven't worked hard enough. There are those girls out there. There are those people out there. You just have to work harder. And it's almost saying, if you came to me and let's just say you were having issues getting pregnant or something like that, and I was like, you know what? You guys just weren't doing it enough. You know what? I did a headstand after I did mine, and it was so easy. All my girlfriends were able to do it, and it worked. But there's millions of people who have the same issue, and you would feel invalidated, as though it's almost like, well, it feels like, why can't you take what I'm saying? Why are you just assuming I haven't? And I'm not saying everybody's done everything they can, but this is a real issue in a whole community that's growing for a reason. And there's, and so that's what I'm saying. There's men and women need to work on things, but I think it's hard. Why do you think the red pill community exists?
It's really unfortunate. I think that as a society in the West, we have failed with opening the sexual marketplace up, and the way that the way that we have. Sorry, I have an energetic husky.
That was so cute.
Yeah,
you're gonna get in trouble.
Anyway, so I think there's a lot of reasons. I think getting rid of our traditional values and understanding the importance of monogamy, the importance of marriage, and the impact that has on children's lives, having that stable family unit is so important. And actually, it's so important for children.
But do you think men don't know that? Do you think the red pill men don't want that?
Men and women, we're told the wrong messages, when we're younger, about what is going to make us happy in life.
That is actually true. We are sold a lifestyle. We're sold a lifestyle at a young age. We're sold monogamy. We're sold marriage. We're sold so many, your religion is sold to you as as a young kid. There are a lot of things that are just handed down to you, and you grow up with these ideologies thinking that this is the way to do it. Everybody else is doing it, so this must be the right way to do it, when everybody don't fit that category. But let's go back in.
What brings us what's going to make us the most happy in life in the long term? I think both men and women are given the wrong message. But one thing I will say the red pill community gets wrong that I want to talk about is this idea that women by nature are hypergamous, but I want to know from women your experience. When you got into the dating scene, most women I know were very innocent and naive, and they just wanted to love and give freely. What happened was they were scarred by a certain man that they loved. Usually that man was also socially conditioned to go explore his options, go, find yourself, this Peter Pan syndrome that a lot of men have. And then women get scarred from those experiences. And
you can't make this shit up, folks.
Oh my goodness. I'm always, about to throw up when maybe I should be more sensitive about this, but I just don't like when people victimize themselves all the time. Okay. Oh yeah, well the women were scarred because some evil man hurt them, and they were just open and ready for love, but the evil male came along and just shattered her, and then she became hypergamous, and that's why she's hypergamous. It's not because that's what she wanted to do, it's because, I mean, she was an innocent young lady. And no innocent young ladies ever hurt men or males. It's only the men hurting the women and turning them into hypergamous females. So we have to get that part right of the red pill, and let everybody know that the female is always innocent and the male is the one who is always uh you know uh stabbing her heart and turning her into this cold woman. I just can't stand victimization all the time. Okay, it's just sickening. It's disingenuous. It's as if only the men do something to the women and the women don't do something to the men. You know how many broken and heartbroken males are out there due to women doing stuff to them? Never gets talked about. But here she wants to talk about how the evil men or the males turn the women hypergamous, and they were just innocent and just wanted to love at first. It's the cold hard world that turned all these women into the women that you see today. I mean, that's the message I'm getting so far. But you know what? Let me stop talking. Let her elaborate so she can clean this up.
Then what happens is the red pill community comes back and blames those women when they've dated around or slept around. But they're the ones that were using them all along. So when they're 40, they're wondering what's wrong with women. And it's just this gaslighting thing.
Cry me a fucking victim river.
It's like, actually, you were wrong with us. And
actually, you're doing the gaslighting right now. That's what's happening. But let's go in.
We wanted to commit to you, but you were out there exploring other options, and you like alpha widowed us, so to speak, right? So that's a term that gets thrown around, but why aren't we asking men to do better? Like, men learn how to commit.
But I would just interject. Let me ask you. So you're saying your friends, they would get scarred maybe through when they're very young. Would you say like college age?
Yeah, I would say,
or actually like in their 20s, early 20s.
I would say it depends on the woman and when she started, dating. But I would say most women starting from age 16 to like early 20s. And I wonder what your experience has been, because I think more women, we need to be honest with our experiences instead of just believing like the notions that men throw out there. So
let me just say this. I think that guys, I don't think if you're a decent looking girl, maybe not even having to be that decent looking in high school, in college, things like that, there were guys who would like you that would probably be interested, that you probably friend zoned, who would probably be good in relationships. They would be good guys, but you weren't sexually attracted to them. They weren't hot. They weren't as cute as you wanted. They weren't that guy you're looking for. Instead, what do most women want? They want, for their level of looks, wherever they are, they want a guy who's in the 8, 9, 10 range.
But
listen, let me just tell you, you can't say all these men, because are we talking about all men, or are we talking about the hot guys?
So this is a thing. I think that obviously it would be, dishonest to say that like women who are attractive obviously get more attention. The same thing with guys. It's kind of unfair, and there is pretty privilege, and I agree with you. There's also like handsome privilege, that exists as well. And I think
they're called chads, and they're called chads because all the women want them. So the dating apps actually tell the truth about this.
Yeah.
So the dating apps, before TikTok, we didn't really have insight to real women talking about these things on a daily basis, multiple times a day. And what the science has shown us, the data has shown us this, that on dating apps, women pick the top 20% of men based off looks and height. Those are the two top criteria. Women say they want personality. They say they want him to be empathetic. They want him to be a good listener. They want all these things, right? But what women say these things, and it's a virtue signal, and it's not, women have been programmed.
It's gaslighting. That's what it is. I want this. I want a sensitive man until they get a sensitive man. I want a man with this or with that or with that, and it all boils down to how he look and how much money he got and how tall he is, or if he got a six pack. Okay, they go for the sixes all day, every day. It just is what it is. They go for the sixes. And if he ain't got that, then like she said, all women want 20% of the men. A lot of the men go on there on those dating apps get skipped over. Okay, and that just is what it is. Most women, about 90% of the women want 20 to 10% of the men. So can you sit up here and say, "Oh well, the women were so innocent and they're 16 to 20, and they were just, and the men turned them into these cold hard women that want." Okay, well, what about all of those other 80% of men that's getting left behind, not even getting picked? Where's the sympathy for those guys? Because they're left to fend for themselves. Ain't nobody swiping right on them. You know what I mean? It just bothers me, the whole victimization of the women, but when it comes to the men, only 20% of them are getting picked. And this is just scientific fact. This ain't even my opinion. Scientific fact, proven, shown that a lot of men are not being chosen by women. But we're supposed to feel like the women are the victim in all of this stuff. It's just gaslighting. And like she said, we're women are grown up to believe that they're looking for sensitivity, or they're looking for chivalry, or they're looking for all of these untangible things. But when it come down to it, they want the tangibles. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay, let's go in.
To say these things, to believe these things, because it sounds good, it sounds virtuous, it sounds high level. Mm-hmm. But the science shows that our actual behavior is completely opposite, and that Facts. Women care more about looks than men. And this is actually dating. This is scientific. This is biological, because we want to pick the best genetic material.
Sure. Yeah, that makes
okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the guys who are 8, 9, 10, 100% of the women want those top 20% guys. Now there's they say 80%, but there's like a 20% of women who know they have no chance with a guy like that or whatever's going on. But 100% of women want these top chads. This is the issue. I talked about this earlier. So the top chads, guys have rankings too. Even if you're a hot girl.
Guys do have rankings. Welcome to Black Man Rankings. I just had to plug that. Good job, Melanie. Let's continue.
In your mind, your friends think you're hot. You're generally hot, especially if you're younger. You are hotter just being younger, and you don't even have to be in shape, but just smaller. Because you dress up, makeup, all that. You're hot. What happens is that the 8, 9, 10 Chad, especially young, especially very young, he can get a lot of girls. Mm-hmm. Why would he commit to you? What makes you special? What makes you outbeat the other girls? He's immature. He's young. He's hot. A lot of girls want him. And you base your experience, or you frame the world through all men, or men are this way. Mm-hmm. But you're not looking at the guys who rank below him and who are average. Mm-hmm. And so it applies to all of them. So all these women want these top chads, and they have years to play the field, where a young hot woman, there's an expiration date on her. So he can keep doing what he does as long as he wants, until that one girl finally really does it for him, or he ages out and he's just like, I'm ready to settle, or he may never, old F boys. So what you're talking about right now does only, say women want all this, that, and the other. But I bet there's guys in their DMs. I bet there's guys that hit him up on, on dating apps. When women swipe.
Yeah, and they ignore these guys. One thing I notice is women don't have no problem ignoring men. when it comes to dating, when it comes to, you know, being chosen or whatever the case may be. Um, I'm in a couple Facebook groups, right? And oftentimes, excuse me, in these Facebook groups, they'll say, everybody, post a pic. And I will see the women post pics. I will see the men post pics. The women will get mad love from the guys, hundreds of likes. The women would barely touch the men pics. They 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 don't. I mean, you could be a nice looking guy, and they just. I mean, some will, like the guys' pics too, but not to the degree that the men show the women love. If you're in a Facebook group, go to your Facebook group, maybe whatever Facebook group you're in, or Instagram or whatever. The women get mad love from the guys. The women, they be like stingy with likes, stingy with comments, stingy. Just don't show a lot of these guys a whole lot of appreciation, and they could be great looking guys, doesn't matter. So it's an imbalance. So it just irks me when the women cry foul and victim when they don't show nearly as much love as the guys do to them. But they are picking based off of looks. But it's only to 20 to 10% of the guys. And oftentimes it's probably because that guy got something that they want, whether it be six figures, he's 6 feet, whatever the case may be. It's just I grow tired of hearing the victimization of women in the dating scene, because oftentimes they do hold the cards. Okay. And it kind of bothers me, because it's like you holding all the cards. You're stingy with your likes, your comments, but you want to play the victim. You can't do both. You can't do both. Let's go in.
Swipe left 95% of the time. They only swipe right 5% of the time on dating apps. So that means there's a plethora, maybe thousands of men that will be interested in them, but because
they swipe left 95% of the time and swipe right only 5%. Women are stingy with a like, with an interest. It's ridiculous.
Because he is not an 8, 9, 10 Chad in face and height, face first, height second, then money, they won't work with it. But if he is hot, he will get a chance if he doesn't have the money.
And listen, I think that that's sad. And I think that we live in a very
reality. It's sad,
reality.
But it's the reality of this world. So men in the red pill have to find a way to navigate these waters, because there is no solution for them, because modern women continue to still want the 8, 9, 10 Chads, go on TikTok and say, hey, they're all F boys and dating is so hard. Right. You can't find a man to settle, but go into your DMs and your Tinder profile, Bumble or whatever else is out there. There's plenty of guys who will want to date them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's, so cry me a river for the women who just wanted to love, and they just wanted someone to hold and love and care for. And then the evil male, he just came along and broke her heart. So that turned her bitter and cold. And now she doesn't, give me a break. Okay. You got 95% women swiping left, 95%. You swipe left on the perfect guy for you, probably. You probably swiped left on the perfect guy for you. And you'll never know him because of, I guess what you're, and look, if you're swiping 5% on some of the guys, swiping right on 5% of the guys, guess how many other women are swiping right on that guy? practically all the women, 80 to 100%. And guess how many options that guy got? A ton of options. I once had a friend who told me men should evolve and not pick women based on looks. Shout out to her, T. You know who you are. I ain't gonna say your whole name, but she said men should evolve. I said, evolve? She said, yeah, y'all should evolve and not pick women based on looks. But women are picking men based on looks. Who should evolve now? It's my question only to T. She know who she is. It's only my question to T. Who should evolve? Because based on this, women are picking men off for looks. Let's continue.
But I think that this is not the issue that I have. I agree with you that, people who are more attractive, men and women, are going to get more attention. Like I completely agree with you on that. I just think
but see, the top chads will hook up with girls who are 4, 5, 6, 7. And friends lie to each other or try to say we're all hot. Women think there's an epidemic when women think they're all 9s and 10s.
But there's guys that come on here as well,
and those top guys will knock down and sleep with and hook up with girls who are 4, 5, 6. So those girls who are 4, 5, 6, 7, they think their new standard is Chad, the
exactly.
Top guy. So then average guys on their level, they don't want to get with because they were able to, or they're able to get Chad to Netflix and chill. See, and this is how a guy is above you in looks. If you are wanting him, he's hot to you, and he doesn't text you back, you're frustrated, he's not committing and all these other things. You're dealing with a bona fide, everyone says it's an F-boy, but he may be an F-boy to you, but if a girl he felt like was on his level, he wouldn't F-boy around with her. You're just what he's occupying his time with until the real girl he wants, who's hotter and maybe more submissive and maybe more feminine, comes along.
And that is true. Sometimes guys do go down a couple notches in their looks to women who are not on their level, mainly because they want to smash or occupy their time, or you're a transition chick. I call it transition chick. I mean, he's in transition right now, but you fill a space. You fill a space. And you fulfill a utility for the guy, but that don't mean he's gonna wife you up, and that don't mean that guy is your new standard, or it shouldn't be. Okay, you need to know you're a transition chick. I know I got a lot of terms. That's just one of them. Transition chick and a finish line chick are exclusively Mike the Philosopher. You want to know what finish line chick is? Look at another video I did. I explained it in that video. But transition chick is a chick that occupy my time. Maybe I've done it. I admit it myself. I went down on looks just to have a chick who was a transition chick. I'm in transition and on a search for my wife. I'm occupying my time with other women, and it's not a win-loss situation. I mean, I'm getting something out of it. They're getting something out of it, but there ain't no victims here. But don't start thinking that your new standard is a hot guy because you got one for a period of time. Women are different. Y'all don't think that way. That's why y'all don't believe that men will do that. Y'all like, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't go down on looks or time or anything like that to be with somebody. So why are men doing that? It's just different. It's just different in how we look at things. But anyway, let's go back in.
Yeah. But friends don't tell each other that because they don't know it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of your friends have to evaluate and look around and say, do I have thousands or at least hundreds of men on dating apps who are interested in me?
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, slightly, because I think this is based on culture and where you're from. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, my husband is Indian. Mm-hmm. And in that culture, there's arranged marriages. And I mean, sometimes they're not. Like, traditionally, there have been. Mm-hmm. And people don't look at that superficial thing that here in the West, we look through that lens, like rating people, you know, this and that.
All right. Now, here, I'm going to have to agree with her. Because in different cultures, people do look at things a little differently. Now, when you're talking about the dating apps, yeah, here in the West and in America where everything is superficial, yeah, you're going to have a whole lot of superficial women who are looking at looks. But in other cultures, they don't really look at that stuff. They don't care about looks, age, things like that. Universally, all women care about money. That's universal. That's how you know it's a natural thing with women. That's how you know it's a natural hypergamy. Hypergamy is natural to women because it's universal. Doesn't matter where you go in what corner of the globe. But things like looks and age and you know things like that are culture driven. So this is where I agree with her, but let's let her elaborate.
When you get in an arranged marriage, someone could, like, the woman could be, I hate even like labeling people this, like a 5, right? And the guy could be like a 7 or 8. And it doesn't matter. You're committed for life, and you find a way to love each other and accept each other. And this looks thing, it doesn't matter all over the world. Like we are hyper focusing on this in the West, and in particular in this day and age when you can just swipe through people like they're nothing, like they're disposable. And I'm concerned. I don't have an answer. I don't know how to fix this, and that's why I'm coming on here. I want to start a discussion with you and with more women in this space, because we need to start like bringing back humanity to people.
But can I tell you, Rosa, this is all beautiful, but it sounds like, and don't take offense, sounds like Disney fantasy where there's world peace and no one fights and Russia puts away their nukes and Yemen is at peace and the children aren't dying and starving. But that is, I agree with you 100%. What you're saying is ideal. It's ideal.
But it ain't gonna happen. As long as we're in a capitalistic society that has capitalistic mindsets and are transactional in every aspect of their lives, from business to personal, it is not going to happen. If you want that stuff to happen, you need to get away from this culture, which made America America. Okay? And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's going to get worse and worse. And this is why a lot of people who are looking for love is leaving this culture to find a more traditional culture that is more human, is more based on, the laws of nature, so to speak. You know, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Okay, instead of everybody being robots. And that's just my opinion. I look at people in the West as robotic in nature, and everybody is programmed to be hypergamous, superficial, selfish, entitled, It breeds people like this, and everybody walking around thinking that their stuff don't stink when it actually does. But we're also living in a time when shame is gone. Nobody has shame. So even the ridiculous things that they do, they don't have no shame about it. So what? I can do what I want, and it's getting worse. People are becoming unmarriageable in the West. The country and the culture of Western world, whether it be in Europe or in the United States or wherever, it's becoming only a place to make money, but not raise a family. That's just my opinion. If I'm right about that, put it in the comments. If I'm wrong about that, put it in the comments. We'll continue on for a little bit more here. Let's see what she say.
Those are all facts that we
other cultures and they're
listen, but we have to work with the culture here. Are your friends willing to be set up in arranged marriages?
No.
Right. So let's start with home. You can't even convince your friends to do it, and those are your friends. You get what I'm saying? And so how would you convince
then our society
to get into that place?
Then we need to have more conversations about the consequences that those women are going to face and those men.
But that's what you said. You have a problem with the red pill community, but the red pill community the red pill community is the only one talking about it. Where are women talking about this in mass?
Nowhere.
We're talking about it, and I thank you for that.
Right, but it's red pill community that facilitated it. So without this, men had to find solutions. The red pill is a solution.
And I empathize with that. I do.
So they where else? What you're saying?
These men are hopeless, Melanie. They're feeling hopeless,
right? And why do you think red pill exists? To make them more hopeless, or to help them feel better, or not feel better, but do better?
Yes, do better, become the best version of yourself, and that should be for men and for women. And it's also a level of self-awareness. So knowing, unfortunately, you're right. We have to think in this way because we have this open market and this society that is so toxic. We have to think in this way of like, how can I best present myself? How can I, like you were saying before, maximize my genetics? And I don't have a problem with self-improvement. I think that's really good for, regardless if you're into relationship.
Rosa, I gotta stop you, baby, because everything you're saying, I get what you're saying, but it does not give solid directional answers for people to do.
And here's the thing, there is nothing to do, because I said this a lot of times, and even in a lot of other videos. I don't blame the people for nothing. I blame the society. I blame the government for no matter what. If you want to know how the people are in any country, look at the government, because the government shapes the people. The government shapes how the people move. The government shapes how the cultures are. The government dictates how you're going to live your life. No matter what the country is, doesn't matter. Always look at the country. Don't look at the people. The people are just moving in parameters that the country will allow. That's all. You want to get a divorce, we'll allow that, but you have to do this paperwork and pay us while you're at it. You want no fault divorces now. Fine, we'll grant you that because we're making money off of divorces. So we're going to make it easier for you to get a divorce. So we can continue to make more money, fill up the court systems, get judges and lawyers more work because they want more work. So we're going to make it easier for y'all to split up child support. We're going to really start going after people because we're making a lot of money off of child support. And we're going to stop you from not being able to have babies because we want you to have those babies so you can pay us. pretty much in child support. So we can make money. We're going to monetize everything about your life. And that's how this is going to work. I don't ever look at the people. I look at the government. The government tell you all that you need to know about how things are going, and it will explain why the people are acting the way they are, and the way society is built right now. That's why a lot of people in the West are having issues with their personal lives, because the structure of the society is set up for you to fail, for you to recycle, rinse, repeat, marry, divorce, kids, child support, divorce, marry, kids, divorce, child support, marry, kids. Because we're making money at every loop that you make. We're making money. We promote damaged homes in the West. And our system is set up so that you can't have more than one spouse, because we need it to be unstable. It's unstable with two people. Your relationship is unstable with two people. If you have more than one person in the marriage, it can become too stable. We don't like that. No polygamy allowed, at least lawfully in most states. Okay. And we're going to monetize your kids. So if somebody leaves or whatever, child support. We're going to and we're gonna make that so hard for you to get out of, because now you're messing with our money. Okay, and that's part of our money. But I've talked about this a lot. But I blame the society. I don't blame the people. The people are just acting in the ways that the society will allow them to act. All that being said, let me go ahead and rank her. I know she's already married, but I'm going to do a ranking on her anyway. Check this out.
You cannot make this shit up. When I get
And there you have it from Melanie King. Look, this young lady is already married, but all that being said, let me go ahead and rank her. She looked nice in the face. I gave her face an 8. As for her body, I'm sure her body is tight. From what I've seen, it looked pretty good. I gave it an 8.5. As for her mentality, I just think that she still seem a little red pill, but she still got she seem more purple pill to me. You know what I mean? I don't know where she coming from, because she is red pill, but she will still want to use female privilege and pretty privilege. And all that being said, I gave her mentality of 5.5. for a total score of 22 points. All right. Like I said, she's already married. But, I just don't like that victim, playing that victim and playing that. That's just weak to me. So she got some work to do mentally, but she already got her husband. All that being said, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Y'all let me know in the comments. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
I don't know why I bother even talking to you.
Hey, no one's got a gun to your head.
All right.
Who you talking to? You say what they want but can't. I say what you think but won't.